Hello and welcome to another edition of After the Whistle, Wednesday, April 27th. And we are back with y'all. Sweep-a-palooza. I'm here,
man.
Todd's here.
Back in the studio.
Yeah, we here after last week's. We was at
All the family in Square One Mall.
We was at a discreet location last week.
Oh, my bad.
I'm joking. It was a discreet location.
I thought you forgot the name.
Yeah, I did forget the name. I went blank. Oh, man. We got a good show for us. Speaking of going blank, the Nets, that's how many wins they got in this series. Big old donut. There's a broom somewhere back there that I forgot to bring on as a prop.
You ain't right.
First of all, the Nets need a grown-up for their organization for next year, but forget that about the Celtics sweeping them. But people forget this kind of payback from last year, because the Celtics were injured last year when they played the Nets, and Tatum was out there by himself getting 50. He managed to get one win by himself. Now a full team, and then he got fouled out on some nonsense. That was probably one of the worst calls I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, that stuff don't even matter. They moving on. Tatum's coming into his own. He's showing why when he got drafted, we were speaking so highly about him, how they definitely should never put him on the trade block, because he seemed like he's one of them, generational talents. And the Celtics gets one of those, I swear, every 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
So with that being said, and Brown playing outstanding, the Celtics overall probably one of the better teams in the East, just because the overall team play. Them and the Heat are probably two of the best overall teams.
And be healthy.
Oh yeah, definitely, and they full powered, health. I actually enjoy watching this team now. Granted, I still don't think we're at that level, championship caliber yet, but I feel like we're knocking on the door.
If you just look at Tatum this series, 29, 7 assists. We got 4.5 rebounds, shooting 45% from the field, shooting 45% from three, and shooting from the free throw line about 87%. That's about as good as you can get for a playoff season. He went to the line, I think, 9 times.
And what's different about this team when they made the transactions, the trades and stuff, they're moving the ball more.
Oh, yeah.
Remember we talked about Tatum and Brown needed more assists. Now they're combining. For this series they're combining for 10 assists a game.
Yeah.
Well, actually 11 assists, because you get rounded up.
Yeah. They just moved the ball a whole lot better. Yeah. I mean, I was saying this all series. There were certain plays that they did this year, like extra passes that they made this year. Granted, if this was earlier in the season, like November, December, they would not have made those passes, or even last year. But this year, they're making the effort to make the open passes. And the good thing about making open passes is the guys are actually hitting the open shots. Grant Williams, who I've been a big critic of, he has became this lethal shooter.
I told you,
all of a sudden.
Oh, I've been telling you, man.
He complains too much about the refs, but not even that. His defense, switching and all that for a guy that big, they just matured. They showed a lot of maturity in this.
In all reality,
series.
They're simplifying the game for themselves.
Yeah.
You got a guy who played in the league. He wasn't a superstar, but he was legit. He was a star. I mean, he wasn't a star, but he was a legit starter. He was a guy that could play, and he understood the game. And how you saying they're making open shots? Yeah, because they're making the game easy for themselves, because they are giving up these difficult shots to get good shots to get great shots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or basically what I just said. I'm gonna say something else, but yeah, never mind.
Yeah, and that's how I knew they were just they were just the better team out of the two, because anytime Brooklyn made a run, or even when Brooklyn had stretches when they would play well and cut the lead down to 3, 4, or 1, they had a response for every Brooklyn run. Whenever Brooklyn made a run, Celtics responded with a run of their own to just expand the lead. And that's one thing that I really took away, just how they had an answer for every Brooklyn run. And I know for Brooklyn, it's just exhausting when the way they play defense on them, and it just doesn't help when Bruce Brown was his second leading scorer the last 3 games. Shout out to Bruce Brown.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Bruce.
But he can't be your second leading scorer in a series game. He only had 2 points, but
yeah, especially when you have all that firepower. Granted, they definitely could have used Harden in this series just because of the pressure. You don't usually win with a big two. Granted, they say Kobe and Shaq, but they had role players that were efficient, that knocked down shots when it was time to knock down shots.
Yeah.
And some of their starters some of their guys were ex-starters that were almost all-stars. You know what I mean? So with this team here, it's just like you rely so much on these two guys, and the pressure's totally on them, and they're doubling and tripling these guys. Like, you have to be more productive as a team. And I feel like when you rely so much on two guys throughout the whole season, the rest of the role players don't really get implemented in the fully filling the game out and fully getting them shots up. And when crucial times this happen, they don't really show up.
Yeah, for Brooklyn, it's been. I mean, well, you can't win. You can't go to championships if your guys are never on the court. That's one of the problems. Because remember, they were the number one team in the East before Durant got hurt. And then everything after he got hurt, and I think they had like a month or so where they just had a whole bunch of G League guys in and out the roster.
Losses. Remember he's talking about they can't get a win. I'm like, how can't you get a win?
Yeah, and they couldn't get a win and all that. Everything went downhill after Durant went out because they went from one to the playing game. So with them, number one, they need to find guys that'll be able to stay on the court. Number two, I mean, Ben Simmons.
My thing is, I would just say, let's just see what happens when the season starts next season, and because I didn't expect him to play at all this season.
Me either.
So let's just.
How you hurt your back though?
Well, from what I heard, it's a mental block that actually affects his back. That's what I was hearing. Like, it's like a nerve type thing. So I'm not positive exactly what it is, but that's what I've been hearing. Hope the best for him. You know what I mean, over the summer. But
he need to redeem himself next season. Because man, if he comes back next year and it's like the same Ben, so man, look like he's stealing money. But kudos to the Celtics getting that sweep because they needed this little time off because some of their guys were starting to get a little hurt in this series. So it's always great to have some time off. I think they might play this weekend, depending if the Bucks win tonight. So I think that series might start this weekend. So that'll be a good series for them as well because another redemption. But it ain't easy to go to the finals, and I think they got the hardest path to the finals as far as the teams that they got to play. So, I mean, good for them for having this little break until the semifinals game 1. Doc Rivers has been known for blowing big series leads, and I know he's sweating right now because they're up 3-0, and now the series is 3-2 going back to Toronto, and the performance they put out the other day, that was just abysmal, especially when Fred VanVleet is not even in the lineup playing the game.
You're talking about Game 4? Yeah, I mean, remember we talked about Trent Jr., how he wasn't performing well. He actually performed. Siakam had a great game, almost had a triple-double.
Yeah. He's been playing well this season.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But overall, excuse me, these last 2 games, they've just been playing harder than the Sixers. Mm-hmm. That's really overall. That's really it. Like, they've just been playing harder than the Sixers. Like, they had 9 steals in Game 4 compared to Sixers 4. For one, when you have over 6 steals in a game, you're probably gonna win the game. Yeah. That just means they're just kind of giving you the game.
Yeah, especially you score off those steals as well. I mean, you just look at it, Sixers just there. You mean James Harden? I don't think he's scored 20 points at all in this series at all. He just has looked a shell of himself. I'm sorry, he scored 22, but they lost in that game, in Game 4 or whatever it was. But he has looked a shell of himself. He hasn't looked like the same guy. He just looks slower. It looks like everything's a little more difficult for him.
I think he might just be kind of still feeling out the team, even though they brought him over there to beat James Harden. But when you play with a guy like Embiid, who's an MVP candidate, you definitely want to make sure he gets his touches. So I think he's just trying to figure out his spots and just still trying to figure things out.
Yeah, I think when Embiid's off the floor and he's on the floor, it's just like, usually that's when it's his time to get buckets. It's not even. It's not. It just doesn't. It looks like it doesn't look like the same James Harden. It's looking rough out there. But for the Raptors, for them to survive, going on the road now they have a real chance of stealing their series if they could win it. If they could win it on Toronto, because they could win it in Toronto, I should say, because the pressure's not on them. They're not. People kind of looking at them like, oh yeah, good team this year. You know, they might, but now pressure's more on Philly because of, you know, you got an MVP caliber guy, and then you have Doc Rivers with the history that he has with certain playoff failures. So it's like, all right, guys, if you guys don't win this series, you might have to look at what's next. What are we gonna do? Because you might have to blow the team up.
I'm a little more optimistic than you. Seems like you were already counting them out. It sounds like
the way they've been playing.
I mean, Embiid, he didn't play well. He had an off game. I think they'll be fine.
I'm just saying, Doc Rivers in these type of situations, he does some panic coaching stuff, and I don't know what gets into him, but he just like does these panic stuff. Then the team panics, and then it's
the one benefit, like I said, he has Embiid, and he has Harden.
Yeah.
So and Embiid's a force of nature.
But the other problem with Embiid is he's hurt.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, thumb, shoe in hand.
He'll be all right.
He got some torn ligaments in his shoe in hand.
His left should be legit. He's a professional. And we don't need him shoot. They don't need him shooting jumpers. So in our reality, like, get in the post, brother, and show what you went to Kansas for.
All right, game. I don't know when the next game. I think game 6 is tomorrow, up in Toronto. So, oh, and also Matisse Thybulle. Jeez Louise. Come on, man. You got to do better than 1 for 6 from the field. Like, make a layup or do something.
Overall, Raptors just played higher than them. Just took them out the game. And they was punching everything in Game 5. Game 5.
Yeah.
Them 6 blocks.
Oh man. All right. Trae Young was like in basketball hell this whole series because of the switching that they were. Because I saw one video, one possession he had. I think it started off with Strus. Is that his name?
Strauss.
No, it started off with Tucker. PJ Tucker started on him.
And then
Bam Adebayo then switched on him. Then Jimmy Butler switched on him, and then he got trapped, and it was like they put him in like that torture chamber, and this is also what happens when you're little.
I mean, they do say the average professional basketball player is 6'7". So that being said, like he just fell into the spider web of statistics. Like, granted, he's an excellent shooter. You know what I mean? Good point guard. But the way that team evolves around him, they're not going to be successful. I like Hunter. Hunter was coming to his own because you need a guy like that that can shoot it. Like, granted, I feel what's the boy name again?
Which one?
I done forgot the boy name. Oh, Trae Young. And I like Trae Young. That's the crazy thing. I must have had a blank. But Trae Young, he could be like a Chris Paul-esque, but just shoots more. But he has to get played more involved, and he needs more. He needs better. You know what I mean? Players around him.
He's just small. That's the big problem. He's just small.
That's an obvious though.
He's just small because when you're that small and they put length on you, it's hard for you to even get a shot off. But
well, actually, he's
Hunter.
little. Remember, we had a conversation about this. Like he's little. Like Muggsy Bogues was small, but he wasn't little.
Yeah.
He definitely needs to get in the weight room. He definitely has to beef up. He just has to learn how to play bigger. That's just honestly what it is with him. Just because he's gonna get harassed the rest of his career because most of the guys are bigger and stronger. So you have to try to match that somehow.
Yeah, or they need somebody else that most of his teammates, they're catch and shoot guys. They're not really guys that put the ball.
That's why I say he needs better players around him.
The ball. But when you got DeAndre Hunter putting up 35.
But also too, you said the players around him are mostly catch and shooting guys. Trae's not a setup point guard. Yeah. So you have to figure out a different formula.
And he needs to get bigger.
That too.
Because that's that. They could put all the guys around him they want, but when the team like the Heat, when you playing against a team like the Heat, that's making your life miserable from the time you get the ball in the inbounds till you get to the front court, it's gonna be like, okay, all right.
But you know, everybody goes through these growing pains. You know what I mean, early in the league, especially if you're young and you have early success. And sometimes you just get brought down to earth, which you got to work on.
Yeah.
And he just has to work on his body. And be more efficient. You know what I mean? Be more efficient.
Yeah, like, I don't think he'll ever be efficient just because the way
He gets paid to be a volume shooter.
Yeah.
But he can focus on being more efficient when he's taking certain shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all. Like,
I'll think
because some of the threes he shoots is like.
yeah, some of them are ridiculous. Some of his shots are kind of ridiculous. But for the Heat, I didn't even know Jimmy Butler, for whatever reason, he didn't play in that game. No injuries or nothing. They just didn't play him. He just sat out that game. Like, street clothes. Kyle Lowry, he was hurt, obviously.
I mean, you forget that they broke the glass, man, and took out the fire extinguisher. Even though they're the Heat, but Deebo, people forget. Like, he's like a secret weapon.
Yeah.
Ex-All-Star, he's just finally coming back into his own. It took him a couple years to come back from the injury, and the man dropped.
Yeah, 23.
Yeah, 23, 5 and 8.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. No, that's 21 and 3. I was reading the other stat.
Oh, yeah, he had 5 fouls.
But you know what I mean? So it's like, you still have Bam out there, then you got Adebayo. I mean, my bad. Oladipo. Man, I'm
You got
wild today.
Oladipo and Adebayo.
Yeah, my bad, man. I'm all over the place today.
Oh, man. All right, the Heat, they're going to be moving on to the second round. They got some time out. They'll be playing the winner of that Raptors-Sixers series. And then this series, everybody thought the Bulls were going to make it a series after stealing game 2, and then the Bucks just decided to beat the brakes off of them the next 2 games. And now the Bulls got injuries to Levine and Caruso. Gentleman's sweep happening tonight because
I wonder how much Grayson Allen's going to drop. He's been playing well this series.
He might trip somebody.
I was waiting for something from you.
You never know with Grayson Allen. But yeah, he's doing a good job stepping up for Middleton, who's out.
Especially for Game 3, him and Porter with that big 18 and 16.
Yeah. And, I mean, who he had? Allen had 27, and Giannis, he just keeps doing what he does, 32 and 17. The Bulls they absolutely have no answer for that. And then now, other offensive guys are out, so to make this an offensive game, it's looking like it's not going to happen. The point guard's out. The Bulls had a nice season. It was fun while it lasted.
It wasn't going to matter anyways, because if you look at their scores quarter by quarter, every game, they barely won a quarter. They've been losing almost every quarter.
Yeah.
So, the Bucks just been dominating them overall.
Yeah, they're just a far superior, better team. But the Bulls, I don't know if they're actually utilizing some of the talent that they have on that roster the proper way. I mean, you got that guy, Ayo, and then you got Kobe White, and for some reason they're not finding ways to utilize those two because those guys have shown they could get buckets. Yeah,
they might just have to build more trust. Once the playoffs come, the bench gets tighter. But when you got your 2 All-Stars going 16 for 38, you got to find some other scoring somewhere.
Yeah, and they haven't. And those two, I mean, DeRozan had that one good game, but besides that, they haven't played well at all in this series at all. This is why you get those big bucks.
Bro, there was one game DeRozan took 9 shots. You need to find some offense from somewhere down the line on the bench. They all get paid to play, so just put some trust in somebody who Lord knows they do. Look at the Pelicans.
Yeah.
They play mad rookies.
I feel like I think a lot of people kind of been underestimating or overlooking the Bucks. They've just been brushing them aside as if they haven't been a really good team all year long. And it's oh.
You know what it is? People don't really like the Bucks. Just the Bucks as a whole. You know what I mean? Who really likes the Bucks other than Ray Allen was there? Let's be honest. And I got no issue with them, but it's just Milwaukee, the Bucks. They're not really that intriguing to watch.
They're not. I mean, granted, their coach is not the brightest coach. He gets saved by his players. That dude is not the best coach.
As their players should do. As other players should do for other coaches. Wink, wink.
No, that dude be trying to lose their game. He be trying to lose games with some of the stuff he be doing. But, yeah, the Bucks, they're going to be a tough out. So they're going to wrap this series up tonight. It'd be a miracle if they lose tonight. But I don't see. That thing's just about over because, man, the Bulls, yikes. All right, in the Western Conference, the Pelicans and the Suns have had a pretty entertaining series. We got Brandon Ingram telling Chris Paul we could take this to the back if you want. For some reason, Brandon Ingram's always ready for a fight.
And I feel like that goes a little deeper than they both Carolina guys.
Well, I heard Brandon Ingram's replaced from Carolina where they're always ready to. I was ready to throw down. I don't know where Kinston, North Carolina is, but I heard that place, folks out there are always ready for a fight. So, but the Pelicans have been fighting this series. I think the Suns are just a little better than them, even without Booker. And Chris Paul has been showing why he's probably one of the top 2 point guards in history.
Yeah, a little more seasoned. They just came back. They just lost the NBA Finals about a year ago. So they know what it takes to get there. I don't think they see the Pelicans really being that much of a threat. Yeah, they know the game's gonna be competitive, but they know they'll probably pull away. Just like last night, they just jumped on them from jump, and then Miles Bridges coming into his own. He was out there balling.
Yeah, I think they forced like 7 turnovers early on in that first period. But for the Suns, yeah, you're right. Coming off the finals, they've just been playing like a team that's trying to get back there. You know, DeAndre Ayton once again in the playoffs. I mean, this dude, for some reason the Suns don't want to give him the max yet. I don't know why, but every time the playoffs comes around in the last 2 years, he's elevated his game, especially scoring-wise. So I don't know what the Suns are thinking, not trying to give this dude another contract, but they need to do it because if they risk losing him in the offseason, they'll just, kind of pull up the whatever they got going on here. But you gotta give the Pelicans a lot of credit. They play hard. Like they play really hard, and some of these guys are getting a good experience. Alvarado, what's that? Herb Jones, and stuff. So these dudes are getting that playoff experience. Now this team, with that team, and if Zion comes back fully loaded, they can say what they want about Zion, but when he played, he was averaging like 27 a game.
And you can see just what happens when you play hard.
Yeah.
Have all the talent in the world, but when you got guys out there playing hard, going 100 miles an hour, really risking everything out there, you see you can steal a couple.
Yeah. And when you have a coach that demands that you play hard, like he's on you about playing hard, that also goes a long way.
You're getting paid millions of dollars. Like you can at least play hard.
You would think, right?
Like he played harder for free over the summer during pickup. So damn, it's for a big old trophy and bonuses and all that.
I know, right? I think they win this. Yeah, I think a lot of these guys, if they wouldn't go to the next round, they get another nice little bonus.
Man, you get paid for winning.
Yeah. Legit though, legit. You, every time you move on to the next round, there's a bonus in there coming for you. So the Suns look to wrap that up. They're up 3-2, but I think they play the winner of of the Jazz series.
I was trying to pull up the bracket on my phone, but you know how ESPN Mobile be.
Oh, yeah, it'd be dumb.
Should have brought the computer.
Yeah. All right. All right, and then, the Minnesota Timberwolves got to have the lowest basketball IQ I've ever seen in my life.
I thought it was just me then. I thought it was just me. Honestly, bro, I swear, it's the culture. Like Memphis, they're trying to figure out how to win. You know what I mean? They really want to move on to the next round. Minnesota, they want to win, but they be trying to lose. They try their hardest to lose.
I mean, you see what they was doing at the down the stretch.
Talking about when Towns saved it out of bounds and stepped on the line. I'm like, that's common knowledge. You either make sure you got enough toe room to grab it, or you just let it go.
D'Angelo Russell just coming down and a couple dribbles and jacks it up down the stretch. It was like, and then where was Karl Anthony Towns? This is why people don't like this dude. He was shushing the crowd, and then down the stretch, when you're not even looking for the ball, you're not even trying to get the ball. When your team needs a bucket, it's like, dude, this is why people are so critical of you, because you've been in the league 7 years, you're number 1 pick, and when it's time for you to actually get a bucket to change the narrative about yourself, you're nowhere to be found.
Yeah, bro, I'm going with Memphis. Changed my mind, bro. I don't do that. Usually when I stick what I call a team, that's what I'm sticking with. But nah, man, I'm not.
I mean, Minnesota had a chance to. This series could have been over if they were smart.
I just like that Memphis just keeps playing, and they do their press conferences like a man.
Yeah.
No diva energy.
Yeah.
Like, if you mess up, own up to it and move on.
Yeah.
Don't deflect it. Next question. Like, come on, man. Like,
right.
Especially, but the thing is, then you want to beat on you. That's my whole thing about people that beat on their chest and say how great they are. But then when you get questions, it makes you uncomfortable. You don't want to answer. Come on, man.
Yeah, and then the T-Wolves it was literally the series. They could have won this series 4-1 if they were smart. Literally, this thing should be over, but my gosh.
We said Minnesota should have won, but I'm going Memphis, man.
IQ just not there, and then down the stretch, Ja put on the show. He had a rough first 3 quarters, then like the final 6 minutes, he just started getting to the basket. He's not really a good shooter, but he made that big 3 down the stretch. But that last play, the inbound, that's another thing. It's like, why are you trying to go for the steal right there? Yeah.
That's just inexperience, being young. That's all that was.
Right.
That's all it was.
Oh my gosh. So now they find themselves down 3-2 to the Grizzlies, and I don't think they're gonna win that game in Minnesota because they had a golden opportunity and they just let it slip away, and now Memphis is just looking like they're about to move on to the next round because they're more than capable of winning up there in Minnesota. But geez, the T-Wolves, they're gonna look back if this series doesn't go 7 games, they're gonna look back at this series and slap themselves in the face.
Yeah, man. My biggest thing with the Minnesota is you would think Russell, who has so much experience in the playoffs already, would just, take him under their wing and say, I got this. That's why I picked Minnesota. I was expecting Russell to just do his thing, but I don't know what's going on.
Even Pat Bev, he's not a scorer or anything, but geez, he's got enough playoff experience to calm those guys down.
And he's even a little anxious.
I mean, he's over there doing this to folks and then he did that, and I think Josh scored like 12 straight points after that.
I just think they got to calm their nerves and just play solid basketball, man.
Yeah, and use their brains. Jeez Louise.
That's why you got to calm your nerves.
All right, and then Luka was out there shimmying. You see Luka shimmying on the chat.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, the Jazz, man. They're such an unlikable team. I don't know why they're so unlikable. Are you gonna talk about that?
You say you don't know why this? Of course you do know.
I do know why.
We all know. America knows. We talk about
but they got likable. They got some likable guys on their team, but
and the likable guys on their team end up coming to our side when they get traded.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on, man. Like I don't. As much as I want to be wrong, they just keep doing it to themselves, especially after having that great win.
Yeah. Oh,
the camaraderie between, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Rudy and I'm forgetting names today.
Rudy and Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, Mitchell.
He hurt.
Yeah, but the thing is, in the next game, it's just like,
yeah,
whoa.
The backcourt that's been dominating this has been Brunson and Doncic. I mean, those guys, they were just when Luka didn't have it going, it was Brunson had it going, and then you look at their role players hitting big shots. I think Spencer Dinwiddie's one of the biggest mid-season trade at all because he kind of relieves the pressure off both of them.
Yeah, he could score.
He could score, and he could also get them. He could get those guys shots or get the other guys shots. But they had plenty of people making plenty of shots. Reggie Bullock coming in there. So the Mavericks, these guys, they're just they're playing very well team basketball, and you could tell after they won those games, those 2 games where they won when Luka wasn't out, they kind of. All those other guys had their confidence going, and then now when he came back, it's even more confidence because they're getting a lot more open shots just because of how Luka and Jalen are penetrating and getting those guys 3-pointers.
Yeah, I feel like you nailed every point with this series because the Jazz suck. I don't even want to talk about them unless they win this series. Like, man. Just prove me wrong, Utah. That's all I ask for.
I think we're seeing a team that's about to on the brinks of being
Yeah,
broken up.
I mean, I seen in Doug Mitchell's face. Like I told you, bro. He better pull a Aaron Rodgers, but you better not re-sign when you walk off.
Yeah, but he's hurt. So the likely of him playing the next game,
It's just
because I think he got a hamstring and something else. And you know them hamstring injuries, especially for an explosive guy like that. Good luck if you try to play on that. But yeah, this dude Luka, man. There've been talks. Embiid, Jokic, Giannis, obviously, were the three guys that got MVP finalists. But he put together MVP season himself, and it was just kind of like brushed under the rug. They won 52 games, and for the roster that they have and like how they, the way they started off and how they finished, it was like this guy should have had some conversations for MVP for how he carried himself in that team.
They probably just feel like Dallas trying to force it because of the usage rate. You know, man does almost everything for you. Yeah. So I get what you're saying, but they're probably like, nah.
Yes. I mean, you look at him and this guy's usage is almost the same.
Who?
Jokic.
Yeah, but
so
Jokic is a big. He doesn't have the ball predominantly in his hands, so it's different. It's a little different, brother.
Yeah, put Luka in that MVP combo. Like, you give it 28, 9, and 8. All right, lastly, the Nuggets avoided a sweep, but I think that's just like delaying the inevitable because it's been, granted, they won that game, but it took everything they had to win that game 4 from getting swept. And a weird play call by Steve Kerr trying to throw a lob to Andrew Wiggins down the stretch when they had like guys at the basket waiting for it.
Just being creative. Like, I don't think these guys take every single game seriously when you up 3-0. Like, it's like, you know what, let's see if this works. Seems like a good idea. If it don't work, on to the next game.
I'm trying to end this series as quick as I can, especially when you got a shooter that's coming off an injury. Let me get him some more. Let me get him some rest. Let me run a play for him. And the other guy that's been making shots all day, not a damn lob to Andrew Wiggins.
Yo, I'm not here to critique every little play certain, you know what I mean, coaches do and don't do. My thing is, like, I know these guys probably don't take every game seriously. Like, when you're up 3-0, it's like trying to catch guys on their toes or try to catch somebody off guard. They assume that you're going to go to the shooters. So let's try something different. Not the end of the world. It's all right. They're playing the Nuggets. Let's be real. Like, I don't think they have much of a chance anyway. So it's like,
I'm big on ending the series when you got the chance to end it. No, I don't want to play any more games. You got a chance to end it, end it. Don't run no dumb plays. Give it to your closer.
So what happens if the shooter don't make the shot and the lob would have been open? Then we would have been talking about, he should have threw the lob. He was open. So it's just like, you know what?
I don't throw the lob when they were actually waiting for it.
I totally agree with that. Jokic was calling for it, but I'm just saying he was probably trying to catch people off guard, but you can't see the other end of the, you know what I mean, other end of the court.
No, him as well, I call him that play. Also, as a player, whoever threw that inbound, it was Will Chamberlain's son. Will Chamberlain's grandson who threw that pass. I forgot who was doing it. It was Will Chamberlain's grandson. Otto Porter.
I was thinking for a second, like, what? I said, yeah, he definitely looked like Will Chamberlain. But see, so a whole bunch of things went wrong in that. But I totally understand what you're saying. But I'm just saying, he probably is trying to catch people off guard. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And most times it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer they're gonna have this with this Steph Curry coming off the bench stuff. I think 2 games was enough. Like, put the man in the starting lineup already. Like, what is he doing?
They probably have discussions about him with that. He probably ain't tripping.
Steve Kerr, so he does some interesting stuff. But yeah, that's another series. That should be over tonight. With all that said, it should be over tonight because the Nuggets, they're not going to get the shooting that they got from those other guys like Monte Morris going 5 for 7, Will Barton going 2 for 5. You got is it Bones Highland? Is that the dude's name? He going 3 for 6 from 3. So as a team, they knocked down 15 3-pointers and stuff. That's the best they've shot in the series. So good luck to extending it to another game, but it's about to be a wrap today. So
yep.
Yeah. That's all with that. I said NBA. NFL draft is this week. Actually, tomorrow. It starts tomorrow. Let's go to Craig to see what the Pats need to do for their drafts.
What up, everybody, and welcome back to No Huddle here on After the Whistle. It's your boy Craig, and talking about football is back, baby. Nothing I love more than talking the game of football. We got the draft coming up, tomorrow. I believe tomorrow, right? Today's the 27th, I believe. So, from the 28th to the 30th, we got the NFL draft, first round, and I'm excited for it. Excited to see who goes number one overall. Most likely a defensive lineman. See where the quarterbacks go. We got some okay wide receivers in the draft, but most of the talent is going to come on the defensive side of the ball and on the offensive line. But let's talk about the New England Patriots, seeing as how we are Boston fans. And I don't know necessarily the correct move for the Patriots because we need wide receiver help. We need offensive line help. With the loss of J.C. Jackson, we could use help in the cornerback position. But my belief is the number one priority should be a wide receiver. But I don't believe that there is a wide receiver in the draft that could come in and make a difference. With that being said, there's a trade out there that's to be had for Deebo Samuels. And, Deebo Samuels isn't the most reliable of wide receivers, but he is a utility guy. He can be used in the run game. He can be used in the pass game. And I believe Belichick is a genius when it comes to finding out what players are good at and then utilizing that in the best possible way. What would you give up for Deebo Samuels? That's a big question because with the quality of work he can put in, is he worth a first-round draft pick? With what's in the draft right now, what we could end up with, I think that I would prefer to have Deebo Samuels partnered with Devontae Parker and Jacoby Myers, and as well as Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. I believe that him adding to that pool of receiving core would lift us to the heights that we need to be to win playoff games, make it Super Bowls. Beyond that, I do believe we need to address the offensive line. We have a quarterback that is not very mobile, therefore needs the maximum amount of time to throw the ball. So if we were to make a trade for Deebo Samuels, more than likely we have to give up a first-round pick. So maybe with the second and third-round picks, we should be addressing the offensive line and then adding depth with fourth, 2/5 round picks to add defensive help because our most talented cornerbacks didn't come from first and second round picks. Free agency, undrafted free agents, late round picks, third and fourth rounds. So I don't believe we need to get a cornerback in the higher round picks. Belichick is a defensive guy. He can mold players into the men that they need to be to do the things that they need to do. So I'm not worried about drafting defensive players. I am worried about bulking up the offensive line. So I believe if we can make a play for Deebo Samuels with a first-round pick, maybe dish off N'Keal Harry and hopefully make that deal happen. But beyond that, offensive line should be our number one priority. When we lost offensive linemen in the offseason and you have a quarterback that is not very mobile, offensive line is the key factor. And our run game is awesome. And in order to keep that run game running smoothly, the offensive line needs to be stacked and ready to roll. So that's my take on the draft. Look out for that, to see who's going number one. Let's see what teams add quarterbacks. It's exciting. A few teams need some starting quarterbacks. Are the quarterbacks in the draft going to be starters? I don't know that for sure. I don't know if that's going to happen, but there are some players out there. Look out to see where Baker Mayfield goes before the draft. Teams could use him. And that's all I have. back to After the Whistle. See you next week.
All right, and we are back. Okay, let's go to Athletes Corner. We had Wesley, Chandler, and Jesse Maggs on. I mean, Wes is going to something academy. I forget the name of it. And Jesse's going to Endicott. We see Jesse damn near all the time at the gym, getting his workout on. So check this out, and then we're going to come back. Hello and welcome to another edition of Athletes Corner, and we have returning guests. Jesse and Wesley are here. Lynn English, seniors. A couple more weeks left.
Yeah.
It's school for you guys.
Ready to get out of here.
Counting the days.
Counting the days, yeah. That senioritis hitting strong, right?
Most definitely.
Definitely gonna miss it though.
All right, man. Fastest 4 years of your life, right?
Facts. No doubt.
Yeah. So, a lot happening with you guys.
Yeah.
First of all, you guys made your college commitments, but we'll get to all that in a bit. But, just talk about everything that's happened, these 4 years for you guys and stuff. Like, how's it been going through this process, getting through English high school? You had an interesting moment. You had to go, then you came back and stuff like that. Just talk about everything that you guys been through.
I'm just so grateful for the Lynn community and Lynn English as a school, because throughout these 4 years, it's just been like massive amounts of growth for me. And whether that was mental or just a ton of people supporting me, throughout these 4 years, I've just grown a lot as a man, and then, very grateful for Lynn English. And then,
hey, man, that's part of high school. That's part of high school. For you, Wesley, how's it been?
It was definitely a learning process for me, I'd say. From a football perspective, I learned a lot from a lot of people, a lot of coaches, a lot of teammates. But it was definitely a grind, I'd say. It helped my game to another level, and I'm really excited to start that off in college.
And you guys had, and for both of you guys, this was because you guys took on the leadership role this year.
Yeah.
And how was it? Because the team was heavily freshman.
Yep.
A lot of guys getting on the field for the first time on the varsity field. There was a lot of freshmen that played. How did you both just were able to handle that leadership role? Because you two would I say, had the most experience out of everybody returning?
Yeah, that was probably like, instead of usually on go all the time, we had to take a step back for once and slow it down, because we had a lot of freshmen, a lot of younger guys. So for them, it wasn't easy for them to catch on how it was for a sophomore or junior coming in. So it was definitely like we had to step it down, maybe slow it down a bit for them. But once they caught on, we were full go, and from there it was just way more easier to adjust.
For you, Jesse?
and for me, I'm the type that's always 100. I'm always trying to go as fast as I can, do everything as quick as I can. And what was hard for me to adjust to was they aren't at the same pace as me. I need to get them to that pace though. So just like Wes said, I had to take a step back, deep breath. If I was getting a little bit frustrated because somebody wasn't catching, I had to stop myself and really just teach them in a way that they would know and that they could be prepared for game day.
Definitely, and it also was there was a lot of positives that came out that season. Granted, the record was what it was, but it was a lot of positives as far as for not only for you guys, but for those players behind you guys that got those experience and just got to experience that varsity level of football, because it is different. It's different, the pace and stuff like that, and so I think it benefits everybody. For you, Wesley, you played in Florida in that All-Star game. How's that?
It was a great experience, actually. I played against a lot of D1 guys, few record commit guys, few FAMU guys. Okay. But it was a great process, and it was I learned a lot from a lot of coaches over there, and I just had fun. It was my last high school game, so I made sure I had the best of it.
Yeah. How did that even come about?
So one of my boys that I played 7-on-7s with, he told me about it, and he was like, "Yo, they're gonna start recruiting. Now would be the time to put your name in." So I put my name in for it. They checked out my film, and I got selected to play up in September before the first game. So as the time came, once the season ended, I got selected to play safety that game, so I started to prepare that whole month and a half before I left, and then by the time came, the game was there, and I was ready to rock.
How long were you down there for?
I was down there for 3 days.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool experience down there. You know, ain't nothing like Florida.
Yeah.
But you went when it was cold up here too. So.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to get away. Very nice.
Jesse, what have you been up to this off season? You know, as far as getting ready for college and just training in general.
Well, directly after football season, there was no breaks. I got right into basketball season.
Oh, yeah.
And that was great. That was great. Had to take a step back from the weight room during basketball season, but got quicker, faster.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I've just been just sticking to the process, you know.
Sorry to cut you off, but for a quarterback, what are some things, as far as training wise, what are some off season things that are vital for a quarterback?
What I would recommend to a lot of people is, we're athletes. We're not bodybuilders. So when you go to the gym, your goal should be, how is this movement gonna prepare me to move better in the game? Mm-hmm. How is this movement gonna help me remain healthy? So for quarterbacks, I would recommend a lot of stability work, whether that's in your shoulder, hamstrings, and a lot of explosive movements, whether that's med ball throws, a lot of shoulder mobility. Just make sure your shoulders are healthy.
Yeah, you need that shoulder. You need that shoulder, especially if you throw the ball like 30 times a game and stuff like that. But all right, you both got plans for next year. You'll be attending Endicott College.
Sir.
You'll be going to Prestige Sports Academy down there in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, first for you, what was the role in? What made you decide to choose Endicott College? And also, there's a lot of Lynn and Endicott. Has a little history with players from Lynn going up to Endicott as well. So.
Well, first of all, it's a great school, and they have a very prestigious internship program that really caught my eye.
Okay.
But other than that, I really had a great, throughout my whole recruiting process, I was in connection with a bunch of coaches, had a bunch of different type of relationships, and the one with Coach McGonigal at Endicott really just clicked. It felt right. When I was on my visits, everything just clicked. And
also helped that it's close to home.
Yeah, it's close to home. Just everything is right, and I feel like going to Endicott, I'm gonna have a great career there, and it's gonna give me that outlet to just better myself.
Yeah.
I'm in a constant pursuit of just getting better every day, and I think Endicott is a good outlet for that.
Yeah, definitely for you. What was the role? What made you decide to do a post-grad year, and how did you wind up choosing Prestige?
So the main reason I chose Prestige, the day before the All-American game, I actually visited the school. So I met the coaches, I saw the facility, I saw the place. I personally enjoyed it. But the main reason I chose there was I wanted to go to a place where I felt wanted and at home. A lot of the coaches, Coach Bliss showed me a lot of love over there.
Okay.
Coach RJ showed me a lot of love over there. So when it was time to decide, I just felt like it was a no-brainer for me, especially after playing in the All-American game.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was the best choice for me.
Yeah. Was it like a tough decision between that, or were there some other schools, colleges that that were kind of close for you to make that choice to go to do it? Instead of doing the post to choose a college, was it like a tight decision for you?
Yeah, it was a tight decision for me. I'd say it was more on, do I want to take another year or do I want to just start my college process? Because for me personally, I don't really like school, if I'm being honest. But
who does?
But I was like, I think it's the best option for me. Yeah. And I talked to it about my parents, and we thought it was the best decision going forward too.
I mean, nobody likes school, but people love school. School,
yeah,
people have like it's a love-hate thing because you got the school, you got the socializing aspect, everything aspect. Hey, school is fun. As long as you make it fun.
I get to talk to a bunch of people every day.
I think you guys are just at that point where you're just over school, so
yeah,
it happened. It happened.
Definitely.
I mean, yeah. But besides that, what do you two have coming up? Seniors are done in a couple weeks, so your time is slowly, the clock is ticking. I think probably like under 30 days or something like that.
Something like that.
So You guys sit back and be like, damn, this flew by?
Yeah, oh no, for sure. Going back to what I first started with, just looking back at me freshman year, whether it was a picture of what I looked like or videos of the way I talked, just growth. Lynn English, it was just a great experience, and from my freshman year to my sophomore year to my junior year to my senior year, every year I can say that I got better, and just a great experience.
And lastly, you two both got to play under two different head coaches.
Yeah.
Coach Mack, Coach Carroll. You guys kind of saw two different angles. What were some things that both of those coaches taught the boot? You guys, I'm sorry. What was something that you both learned from both of those coaches?
Early in my career when I started, I've always had a big arm. I've always had a strength. I've always been able to put the ball wherever I want to. But the struggle for me at first was the mental side of things, you know? Being able to encourage 50 dudes on a 25-degree day after taking 3 tests to go work your ass off for 2 hours, you know? Or even learning coverages, learning if this guy does this and he comes here, what's happening. So Coach Carroll, he did a really good job of teaching me the ropes of the quarterback position and the mental aspect of it. With Coach Mack coming in my senior year, I had a pretty good idea of coverages and how I am like philosophically, and how I kind of want the offense to move.
Yeah.
But Coach Mack, he did a good job of not making me get too ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Stay present in the moment, and he really preached that on me. Staying present. Don't get too ahead of yourself. Do this. Once you get that done, get this done, you know? And that also taps into, we had a really young team, so Coach Mack, I gotta give it to him. He really helped me out.
Definitely. For you?
Yeah, for me, Coach Carroll honestly taught me a lot about football and the mental side of it. Coming in from 8th grade year, I played running back and linebacker, and then when he was there, I switched to receiver and safety. So he broke my brain down a lot, and he taught me step by step. And I was lucky enough to have Matt Severance with me there and a few other leaders to teach me also.
Yeah.
But Coach Carroll really helped me develop my game and help me think before I do. You know, I used to a lot of just be on go, go, go.
Yeah.
And he taught me to slow it down. With Coach Mack, he showed me how to be a leader. I never really had to be one of the guys who had to step it up. I was always one of those guys on the team who just was able to just be there and relax and wait on my time. So when my time came to be a senior, came to be a leader, Coach Mack taught me how to become a leader, how to take a step back, when to step it up, all those things. So Coach Mack helped me a lot personally.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, congratulations to you
Thank
two.
you.
I mean, good luck with everything. I mean, I'll see y'all next week. I'll see y'all in the building.
Yeah, I'll see you at school.
Yeah, I'll see them in school. You guys been watching Athletes Corner. We're out of here. All right, and we are back. All right, so let's go to some quick post games. Got 2 of them for y'all. I had 3 on here, but we're only doing 2 of them. The first is from like this 10 youth football game. This little boy, Jacob, this boy ran that football. I think he had like over 200 yards rushing and like 5 touchdowns. Check this out. All right, Coach, Taylor, 2 halves. First half offense, second half only 2 touchdowns. What was kind of the change?
The change was when we were able to adjust and have Jacob watch number 77. And we realized once the run we was running with when we just ran trips to the outside, there was no way they couldn't stop him. And I'm remind you, this kid is awesome. This is, excuse my language, but this is his first year playing. Never played football a day in his life, and he came through. I mean, he came through in a big way. So I'm gonna let him talk and see what he's seen on the field.
All right, Jacob, you scored all the touchdowns. I mean, tell me what you saw in those touchdowns.
It was just a good feeling, having like juking everyone, running down the field, hearing the fans cheering and stuff. It was just a great feeling. My teammates especially, I want to thank them for really helping me a lot this game. So
yeah, you guys are down 21-19. You scored those 2 touchdowns. You know, what did you guys say to yourselves to overcome that lead and take the lead?
So exactly what happened is we had to motivate each other, keep our heads up, and keep on playing our game, and it turned out with the win, and that's all that matters.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
All right, and we are back. Okay, it's a quick high school sports update. Lynn Tech baseball lost to Mystic Valley 10-0. Yikes. Come on, Tech's been doing pretty good too, but they lost to Mystic Valley. All right, Lynn English, they knocked off Malden the other day. St. Mary's, they returned home with the win. You know, there's some good baseball happening.
That's dope.
Some of the teams out here doing work. St. Mary's plays Archbishop Williams Friday at Frazier Field. I have yet to go to a baseball game, so I might go there, you know, do some post-game stuff. Depends how I feel. It depends if we're at our little spot getting some fights.
Yeah.
Quick shout out, I forgot to do this a couple weeks ago. Former Lynn Classical football player Brandon Summers. He's at BC. He was able to walk on the football team.
Oh, that's dope.
He's there. They had their spring game a couple weeks ago. He had a pick in that game. I think he had 2 interceptions or 1 interception. So
congrats, man.
yeah,
Keep it going.
Yeah, good for him. You know him, right? We see him at he's the one with the hair. We always see him at the PBDY.
I gotta see him. Yeah, I probably know.
Yeah, we see him all the time.
There's so many
at the gym.
names, so many people nowadays.
Yeah, we see him all the time. He be in the gym in the morning when we there.
All right.
That's it. We made it through. LynnTV.org. Make sure you go to the website. LCTV After the Whistle, Instagram, Lynn Community Television, Facebook, all that good stuff. Mr. Burn 23, Instagram. Mukala K, Instagram. Yeah, any B-Day shout-outs we got to give out?
No, you know, my little monster's coming up soon, but not close enough.
I ain't got no shout. Oh, I had a tweet that made it on NBA TV the other day.
Okay, that's dope.
It's pretty hilarious. You know, this is how a small world it is. So this one dude, he played at the Gardens tournament. I follow him. He DM'd me and he told me that his boy works for Turner. His boy was the one that got that tweet up there. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the basketball world is a very small world. It's crazy.
Very small world, yeah. Shout out to him for putting that up there. And also shout out to Pedro as well for keeping the show running.
Yeah, man, put on my story, man, so you'll want to know who he is. That's the man behind the cameras who makes things happen.
We forgot this. Fury with the knockout.
Oh, yeah.
6-round knockout.
The Gypsy King.
Yeah, we forgot to talk about Errol Spence won last week.
He hurting people.
Yeah, he hurting people. I think him and Crawford are talking about in the talks.
They better stop talking. Just sign the paperwork.
Yeah.
Stop talking. Just sign it.
Definitely.
It don't take no words to sign paperwork.
Definitely. And also go to the Boys and Girls Club Friday and Saturday. They got the King of the Ring boxing tournament happening over there. Some young fighters from all over the place over there. If you like boxing, got nothing to do Friday and Saturday, go to the Boys and Girls Club and check it out.
Or if you need to learn how to fight, go ahead. Go wash them hands.
They do got the boxing club at the Boys and Girls Club now too. So
a lot of y'all. Sign up. I seen some of y'all.
Yeah, we out of here. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. I need a haircut. I'm out. It's looking rough.
Got one more week.
Oh,
next
man.
week.